Let me ask what's made you so optimistic. I mean, have you got some big contracts, big new contracts coming? Have you got some big new clients in the second half? What leads you to boost your outlook?
Well, first of all, we have to be realistic. We reviewed our objective for the full year at the end of the first quarter, like most companies. So it's based on that framework. What we noticed today is that companies, even in the heavy industry, are doing everything to reduce their OPEX. As they want to reduce their OPEX, they need to first stay up and running with their engineering development on production. So this is where our software is used. So what we have noticed is an expansion in the use of our solutions for the existing customers, a slowdown with new customers buying new licenses. But overall, the recurring revenue of Dassault Systems is quite high at 83%. The diversification in life science is strong. We invested $6 billion at the end of last year to become the platform of reference in clinical trial, like what we do with Moderna, announced today, phase 3 clinical trial for vaccine. So the virtual twin experience is applying to all industries, and that's what is sustaining our business, I think.
Yeah, Bernard, good morning. Let me ask you more about that exposure to life sciences. Seems timely now. To what extent does that offset the pain in other sectors? And is this then an area you want to increase your exposure to?
Well, it's clear that it has a big effect. I think the growth in life science has been significant in the first half from the second quarter. On beating our even own internal plans. More than 60% of the clinical trial worldwide now for the COVID vaccine are based on Dassault Systems Medidata platform. So it happened that the move we did last year was in some way, and of course we suffer like everyone with the pandemic, but is just right on time because the sector is really transforming itself with the digital discipline to develop research on test. And the 3 biggest phase 3 tests now are on Dassault Systems platform. So it has compensated the slowdown in heavy industry like aerospace and transportation and mobility. However, we should keep in mind that even in aerospace, there is a defense and space side, which is quite dynamic, as illustrated in America, for example, or Asia. And also in transportation and mobility, I see 2 factors: optimizing OPEX on selective investment for new portfolio, because the new portfolios are on the agenda of all companies for clean mobility on clean sky.
What do you think about the automotive sector? I think you have Tesla as a client, which has been, at least in market terms, absolutely knocking it out of the park. And frankly, everybody else making electric cars is trying to, I mean, Tesla's the benchmark, right? And they use your software. How do you see that sector growing in the second half?
It should be noticed that in the last 2 years, or even in the last 4 years, there is a lot of new players in electrical mobility. You have Nikola, you have many others who have been really now calling for money to develop their companies, Rivian and many other names. They all are our customers. We started with the next generation platform, cloud-based, mobile. So what I think the effect for us is that it's showing to the existing players new possibilities for innovation in a lean and frugal way. And Tesla was the first one with us. Many years ago, we started directly with the next generation platform. So I think that's a good dynamic. And I think it's an healthy dynamic because we want to help existing customers to really reinvent their portfolio. And we need to do it. I think the social impact of clean mobility is so essential. And I think it's on the agenda with this crisis. So that's a good dynamic, I think.
And let me ask you briefly about aviation. Okay, Bernard, let me ask you briefly about aviation. How much is the plight of Boeing and others in the sector hurting the business?
Well, first of all, this sector is really suffering right now. You have noticed the air traffic down significantly. At the same time, those are long cycle businesses. And there is a clear need to reformat, to rethink about the product portfolio. Clearly, the aviation specifically is driven by the defense side those days. The sovereignty question is on the agenda on many fronts, on the pharma sector in dependency with the therapeutics. It's also about creating jobs in the different geographies. The supply chain is really under consideration to be reformatted. Those are serious topics, and our platform to do virtual collaboration is really helping to transform those ecosystems to move from cost-driven, doing maybe something far from where you are, to a new proximity on a new reallocation of production facilities and so on. So I believe that the current economical situation is accelerating a new kind of transformation for the manufacturing industry at large. I think it will apply also to construction as well as medical sector. This is the core of what we do. This is our business, and this is why we love it, and why we are there with our customers for many years now. So I have still a lot of conviction that the aerospace will re-establish new type of solutions for air mobility and solutions with a new type of portfolio, and this has to be done now.